essay question. Next, fatty acid synthesis means how fatty acids are synthesized and how fatty acids are degraded. You are learning both. Okay. Next, metabolism of triacyl glycerols and metabolism of phospholipids, metabolism of ketone body, fatty liver, lipotropic factors, metabolism of prostaglandins, metabolism of cholesterol and steroids you have, metabolism of lipoproteins and hyperlipoproteinemias, metabolism of adipose tissue and role of adipose tissue in obesity, lipid peroxidation and free radicals, atherosclerosis. These are the topics you are having in lipid metabolism. All of you are clear what you need to learn in lipid metabolism? Are you clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Because yeah, it's most important. It's most important. You need to be clear what you need to learn first from present topics you have according to the BOS. Okay, starting with the digestion and absorption of fats. Okay, what are the major, because what fats you are going to take are most important in the diet. Majority 90% what you are taking are triacyl glycerols or triglycerides. Remaining 10% or 10 to 15% are cholesterol and phospholipids. Actually, it varies with the economic status, it varies with the geographical location of the country. Why? Because for a normal Indians average fats, they usually take 20 to 30 grams of lipids per day, or at the most 50 grams, 50 to 60 grams of lipids per day. Whereas Western countries, they generally takes 2 to 3 times more than this quantity. That is, they take usually 150 grams, 100 to 150 grams of lipids per day. That much they take lipids. That's why certain aspects are more important for the Western country individuals compared to Indians, because in Indian usually they have a mixture of carbohydrates, proteins and fats as per Indian contents. But whereas Western contents are majority, they have lipids. And among lipids, again, 90% are triglycerides, remaining only 5 to 10% are phospholipids and cholesterol. Now, okay, you have understood what are the components of the fats, what you take or what you consume. Okay, now how after you consume, okay, first it's 30% of the digestion of the triglycerides are digested in the stomach. Okay, first it starts with one important, there are important enzymes, as you have learned for carbohydrates, important enzymes are amylases. In for lipids also there are certain important enzymes as lipases. In that lipases, there are different types of lipases. In that, first lipase is the lingual lipase. Lingual lipase is present on the dorsum aspect of the tongue. It is having a pH of 2.5 to 5. Okay, it's little slightly acidic to little bit of alkaline, not completely alkaline, but it is okay in between. Okay, it starts, lingual lipase is the important enzyme that acts only on short chain triglycerides. Where are these short chain triglycerides are present? They are usually present in the dairy products, majority of the dairy products. That's why action of lingual lipase is observed to be more important for newborn infants, because what infants usually take, only lactating, only dietary product. Okay, for them it is most important that lingual lipase acts on short chain triglycerides. In that way, triglycerides are broken down into glycerol and fatty acids completely. In that way, lingual lipase is an enzyme that is present in the that acts on short chain triglycerides. Next lipase is the gastric lipase. Gastric lipase functions around pH 5.4. It is an acid stable enzyme. It is secreted by chief cells of gastric mucosa and it is stimulated by an hormone gastrin. Okay. Now majority, now you are able to understand, yes, majority of the medium chain triglycerides and short chain triglycerides are acted upon by lingual lipase as well as gastric lipases. Next, in that way, majority of the medium chain triglycerides, short chain triglycerides are acted by lingual lipase and gastric lipases and are broken into fatty acids and glycerol. But what about long chain fatty acids, long chain triglycerides? Okay, because long chain fatty acids, obviously, what happens to them? Because these lipases, they can act only on short chain and medium chain. What about long chain fatty acids? Long chain fatty acids, there is an important process called as emulsification. Emulsification is a prerequisite for digestion of lipids. What do you mean by emulsification? Emulsification is a process where a large fat droplet is broken down into smaller droplets. In that process, what is most important is surface area of the droplets is increased. Why? Because as by increasing surface area of the fat, because enzymes can act only at a certain active site, but for that activity, for the binding of the enzyme to the triglycerides, it increasing the surface area. Otherwise, if it is a large droplet, how enzymes can act? By process of emulsification, fat droplets are broken into smaller droplets. Because of that, as surface area is increased, it is making enzymes to act on the convenient part of the triglyceride. In that way, emulsification is an important process. And for process of emulsification, some important components are required. Why? Because it is favored by bile salts because of their detergent action. What are bile salts? You can understand. Next are peristalsis. What do you mean by peristalsis? There are certain in the intestine. There are certain peristalsis means that makes mechanical mixing inside intestine or after stomach. It enters into duodenum or pancreas. There, because of the peristalsis, it leads to mechanical mixing of the triglycerides. And one more important component for process of emulsification are phospholipids. What phospholipids? In what way phospholipids are able to enhance emulsification is because of the surfactant action. Because you have learned in chemistry part, please revise little bit of chemistry part of lipids now, because you have started metabolism. Just revise, please, all of you. There's a small suggestion wanted to give you. Just revise chemistry part. You can connect a little bit chemistry wherever it is applying to the metabolism part. Phospholipids have surfactant action. Because of the surfactant action, they do enhance process of emulsification. Now you have understood what is emulsification. Now, what are bile salts? Bile salts are products that are secreted in bile from obtained from cholesterol. When cholesterol metabolism comes, you can understand how bile salts are generated from cholesterol. First, bile acids are formed from bile acids when they undergo conjugation. Okay, conjugation with sodium glycocolate and sodium taurocolate, they form with glycine and taurine. Conjugation of bile acids with glycine and taurine forms bile salts, that is sodium glycocolate and sodium taurocolate. In that way, they increase surface area and they reduce the surface tension and help in process of emulsification. In that way, next process of digestion occurs in intestine. In the intestine, lipolytic enzymes are there. Now you have understood about gastric lipases and lingual lipases. They can act on short chain and medium chain, but long chain fatty acids, because the fat size is more, lipolytic enzymes can act only at certain active site. That's why surface area has to be increased for long chain fatty acids. How you can increase? By process of emulsification. Now you have understood what is emulsification. But now what are the enzymes that act? There are certain lipolytic enzymes in intestine as pancreatic lipases with one more colipase. Next are cholesterol esterases. Next are phospholipases A2 that act on phospholipids. Cholesterol esterase acts on cholesterol ester. Now coming to one by one. Now here in pancreas or bile has a pH of 7.7. There is a change in pH. If you observe from gastric mucosa or in the lingual lipase or gastric lipase, they can act on acidic pH because of their acid stable nature. Now, here in the bile, lipolytic enzymes have a favorable pH of 7.7 because they are entering into duodenum, neutralizes the acid kind from stomach because that has to be neutralized for lipolytic enzymes to act. Here, that is the most important point. Now, in this slide, you are able to see important physiologically important lipases. What are the physiologically important lipases? Now you have understood about lingual lipase 1. Lingual lipase is acid stable lipase. Lingual lipase and gastric lipases, their site of action is in mouth or in stomach. What are the substrate they act? Triacylglycerols with medium and short chain fatty acids. Okay, finally, what are the products are formed? Free fatty acids and diacylglycerols are formed in that way. Next lipases are pancreatic lipase with colipase. Its site of action is in small intestine. Small intestine. It's acting on triacylglycerols with long chain fatty acids. Because of its action, free fatty acids with two monoacylglycerols are formed. Next lipase is intestinal lipase with bile acids. Its action is on small intestine. It acts on triacylglycerols with medium chain fatty acids. It's broken down into three fatty acids and glycerol. Next lipase is phospholipase A2 with bile acids. Its action is in small intestine. It acts on phospholipids with unsaturated fatty acids on position 2. You can just revise structure of phospholipids. It has an unsaturated fatty acids on position 2. Because of action of phospholipase A2, phospholipids are broken down into unsaturated fatty acids are separated and lysolecithin is one more compound obtained. Next, one more lipase is lipoprotein lipase. Insulin favors lipoprotein lipase activity. It is present in endothelium. What is its role is, you can understand again this lipase when you learn about lipoprotein metabolism. Now just listen briefly. It acts on triglycerides present in chylomicrons and or very low density lipoproteins. Because of its action, it is broken down into free fatty acids and glycerol. There is one more lipase called hormone sensitive lipase. It is present in adipose tissue and it acts in triglycerides usually stored in adipose tissue. You know that storage form of fats is triglycerides. It is stored in adipose tissue. Because of action of hormone sensitive lipase, triglycerides are broken down into free fatty acids and diacylglycerol and monoacylglycerol. In that way, it's an important slide. It can be given as a short question to you or MCQs. Please, you learn different types of lipases are there that act on triglycerides only, but triglycerides with short chain, one type of lipase, medium chain, one type of lipase, long chain, one type of lipase, and triglycerides. There are exogenous triglycerides, there are endogenous triglycerides. Exogenous triglycerides are triglycerides that are present in chylomicrons, whereas endogenous triglycerides are formed in liver again. Liver, okay. They are carried by very low density lipoprotein. Please register that point. You can again learn these points in lipoprotein metabolism. Next, digestion. It is digestion here. Pancreatic lipase hydrolyzes fatty acids esterified to first and third carbons of glycerol. Just again refresh with the structure of triacylglycerol. Triacylglycerol is glycerol with fatty acids. Glycerol is trihydroxy alcohol. Please remember again structure. Please refresh structure of triglycerides. Glycerol is trihydroxy alcohol. First, second, third positions of the hydroxyl group are esterified with fatty acids in triglyceride structure. Usually, mixed triglycerides are present. Mixed triglycerides means one can be saturated fatty acids and one can be unsaturated fatty acids. In that way, that's why pancreatic lipase can hydrolyze only fatty acids esterified to first and second carbon. Okay, that's it. It can act only on first and third carbon. Third carbon atoms of glycerol forming monoacyl glycerol, and two molecules of fatty acids are present. Now what happens to the second position? That's why an isomerase is one more enzyme shifts ester bond from position 2 to 1. Now bond in first position is then hydrolyzed again by pancreatic lipase to form free glycerol and fatty acids. In that way, digestion completes. What are the major end products of digestion of triglycerides are? First, 2-monoacyl glycerols are formed 78%. Why? Because pancreatic lipase can act only on first position and third position. Next, isomerase shifts bond from second position to first position. Then again pancreatic lipase act to form 1-monoacyl glycerol. And finally, because of again pancreatic lipase enzyme, it finally cleaves into glycerol and fatty acids. In that way, complete digestion of triglycerides takes place here because of action of pancreatic lipase. What about cholesterol ester? Cholesterol ester is hydrolyzed to free cholesterol and fatty acid by cholesterol esterase enzyme, and action of phospholipase A2 forms isophospholipid and a fatty acid. In that way, here you can see triacyl glycerol. At first, here it is the glycerol structure. R1, R2, R3 are the fatty acids. Pancreatic lipase can act on first position to form first 2,3-diacyl glycerol, next 2-monoacyl glycerol. Next, it acts on third position to form 1-monoacyl glycerol. Next, isomerase shifts bonds to the first position. See here, it is shifted to finally form glycerol, and fatty acids are separated. In that way, complete hydrolysis of triglycerides is taking place. Next, what is the action of colipase? You are learning about colipase along with pancreatic lipase. Why? Because action of lipase requires binding of colipase to triacyl glycerol molecules at this lipid water interface. Why? Because of that action only, colipase is secreted by pancreas as an inactive zymogen. That is, it usually exists in inactive form and is activated by trypsin. Whenever a pancreatic lipase has to act, then only colipase is activated. Okay, in that way, its action is there. In that way, digestion of triglycerides is completed. Now you have understood how all of you are clear, or you want any again revision? Students?
No, ma'am.
Okay,
No,
you are clear.
ma'am.
You are clear with the digestion.
Yes, ma'am.
How the action of lingual lipase, gastric lipase on short chain and medium chain fatty acids. Next, role of pancreatic lipases for complete hydrolysis. Next, role of cholesterol esterase. Next, role of phospholipases. Okay, nice. Next, after understanding about digestion, now going into the absorption of lipids. How while salts are playing an important role in digestion, they are playing an important role in absorption too. Please, now you can understand. Short chain and medium chain fatty acids, they can directly, they can be absorbed into the portal vein and they enter into the liver. That in that way, in the liver, fatty acids can undergo oxidation to yield energy. That process you can understand. But long chain fatty acids, what do you mean by long chain fatty acids? Long chain fatty acids are fatty acids with more than 14 carbon. They are absorbed to lymph first. Then only they can enter into the circulation. It is a theory that has been given by Bergstrom. Bergstrom is a scientist who is a Nobel laureate in 1982. He has given how absorption of long chain fatty acids can take place. What he has given is there are micelle formation. What do you mean by micelle? It is a structure with products of digestion. What are the products of digestion? 2-monoacyl glycerol, long chain fatty acids, cholesterol, phospholipids, isophospholipids. Completely all products are incorporated into a molecular structure to form a mixed micelle. Now you can understand what is a micelle. Micelle is amphipathic in nature, and micelle are spherical particles with polar exterior and non-polar interior. Because of the mixture of the components, it is an amphipathic in nature. You have understood what is an amphipathic lipid in chemistry part. Here micelle is one of the amphipathic lipid, amphipathic structure with polar exterior and non-polar interior. Okay, for micelle formation again, bile salts are playing an important role. Okay, Micelle formation is essential, particularly for absorption of fat-soluble vitamins as vitamin A, D, E, and K. Okay, why? Because micelles usually they are aligned at surface of the jejunal mucosa. At the jejunal mucosa, they can passively diffuse into the mucosal cell where further absorption can take place. That's why micelle formation is an important aspect. How emulsification is important for digestion. Here, micelle formation is important. Okay. Here, see how mixed micelle formation. Exterior are cholesterol, bile salts. They are polar in nature. Interior, long chain fatty acids, monoacyl glycerol. They are present. Interior are non-polar in nature for micelle structure. Exterior are polar in nature. That's why it is amphipathic in nature. Because of the formation of mixed micelle, it passively, it is easily entering into the mucosal cell. In that way, absorption is easy. Next, enterohepatic circulation of bile salts. Okay, bile salts are playing a role in emulsification. Bile salts are playing a role in micelle formation. Okay, what happens afterwards? Bile salts are reabsorbed and returned back to the liver to be re-excreted. Means they are reabsorbed, returned to liver where they can have enterohepatic circulation. That is the role of bile salts. Next, what is the role of fatty acids? Fatty acids again in intestinal mucosal cell. Yes, they have entered. What happened after entering mucosal cell, intestinal mucosal cell? Long chain fatty acids are again reesterified to form triglycerides. See, again, you are taking triglycerides, reconverted back, digestion has taken place, but finally, again, in the intestinal mucosal cell, they are again reesterified to form triglycerides. But please understand, what you take triglycerides are different from the triglycerides formed here. Okay, that is one important. That structures are different, please. But it is triglyceride. And fatty acids are in that formation. Fatty acids are first activated to fatty acyl CoA by an enzyme acyl CoA synthetase or thiokinase. Whenever synthetase enzyme is there, please understand it is utilizing ATP. That's why it requires two high energy compounds. Two ATP are utilized for activation of fatty acids to fatty acyl CoA in the presence of an enzyme acyl CoA synthetase. Two such activated fatty acids react with monoacyl glycerol to form triglycerides. In that way, in intestinal mucosal cell, they are reesterified to form triglycerides. You are able to understand how reesterification is taking place in that way. But what happens to free glycerol part? Free glycerol part absorbed from intestinal lumen, it directly enters into blood circulation. That's why it is unavailable for reesterification. That's why fatty acids have to undergo activation rather than combining with glycerol to form triglycerides, because glycerol is entering blood circulation for further steps. But here, fatty acids are undergoing reesterification to form triglycerides. In that way, completely the triglycerides form again reesterified from long chain fatty acids along with cholesterol esters, phospholipid molecules with apoproteins, that is protein part, P48 and ApoA. All are incorporated into one structure called chylomicrons. It is an important lipoprotein. Now again you can understand about it in detail in lipoprotein metabolism. Just now you can understand what are chylomicrons. Chylomicrons are the structures that are formed in intestine along with triglycerides. Major component of chylomicrons are triglycerides. Little bit of cholesterol ester and phospholipids are present. But one important point is it has protein component along with lipid component. Protein components are called apoproteins. Apoprotein B48 and ApoA are incorporated into the structure of chylomicrons. That's why, what is that? Chyle. Chyle is an important fluid from intestinal mucosal cell. It is loaded with chylomicrons. That chylomicrons are transported to lacteales, that is into the thoracic duct, and then it is entering into the lymphatic circulation. In the lymphatic circulation, the presence of chylomicrons in circulation after a high fat meal, that's why if you immediately, that's why for when you are giving sample for lipids, particularly in the laboratory, they are suggesting to you, please give fasting sample only. Why? Because in lipid profile means it usually consists of cholesterol, triglycerides, and low density lipoproteins and high density lipoproteins. In that way, lipid profile is been given in the laboratory. But for that, you have to give us fasting sample. Why? Because if you give a random sample, immediately after meal, what is present in the circulation? Chylomicrons are present. In the chylomicrons, what are present? Triglycerides are present abundantly. That's why you are going to give false elevated triglycerides. In order to prevent that, please, you have to give a fasting sample. You have to suggest that please give a fasting sample when you are giving a lipid profile. Why? Because you are going to ensure correct values of triglycerides, particularly triglycerides, rather than other lipids. Okay, that's why it is ensure that it is a fasting sample. Normally lipemia clears within a few hours, means it takes 3 to 5 hours, because chylomicrons has to undergo metabolism. That metabolism you are going to understand in the next classes, coming classes. Now you can understand that it takes 3 to 5 hours minimum for metabolism to take place, and for triglycerides again have to be converted into free glycerol and fatty acids. That component is there, but for that it takes 3 to 5 hours. Immediately if you collect sample within 3 hours, obviously triglycerides appear to be more, but that is a false elevation. Okay, that's why you ensure please that point. That is about chylomicrons. And here you can, in diagrammatic representation, you can understand. Okay, in small intestine lumen, micelle formation is because of micelle formation. Again, reesterification of free fatty acid is taking place. Free fatty acids are reesterified by activation to form fatty acyl CoA, and then it combines with glycerol to form triglycerides, and triglycerides are incorporated into chylomicron structure. Chylomicrons are transported to lacteals and lymphatic system, and then it enters into the blood circulation. Or that is for long chain fatty acids. What about short and medium chain fatty acids? Directly they enter into the blood circulation. Okay, and they enter into liver, finally free fatty acids, and undergo oxidation to form energy, to yield energy. That next class you can understand what is fatty acid oxidation. Next, what are bile salts and bile acids? They enter into portal vein, enterohepatic circulation, back to liver. Okay, fatty acids, short chain fatty acids means fatty acids having 4 to 6 carbon. Please, just a revision for you, because they have been given to you in chemistry part. Okay, just revise. Butyric acid 4 carbon, capric acid 6 carbon. Medium chain fatty acids are 8 to 14 carbons. Example, capric acid. Caproic acid is 6 carbon, capric acid is 10 carbon, lauric acid, myristic acid. Medium chain fatty acids are usually present in dairy products. Long chain fatty acids with 16 to 18 carbon. Example, 16 carbon palmitic acid, 18 carbon stearic acid. Next are very long chain fatty acids more than 20 or more 20. Eicosapentaenoic acid, examples. Next, docosahexaenoic acid, examples. Next, majority sources of short chain fatty acids are dairy products, and lactating milk is important medium chain fatty acid. That's why infants it is important. Okay, lingual lipase and gastric lipase can act on medium chain fatty acids and short chain fatty acids. They can directly enter into blood circulation, then to portal vein, finally to liver, where they are used for energy in that way. Next, there is one applied aspect. Coming to the applied aspect, steatorrhea. Steatorrhea means more excretion of fat in feces in more than 6 grams per day. When that takes place, when there is any usually causes for steatorrhea are chronic pancreatitis, tropical sprue, surgical removal of intestine, any obstruction of bile duct. These are the major causes for steatorrhea. There are certain conditions called as chyluria, chylothorax. What do you mean by chyluria? Chyluria means urine appears little turbid in nature or lipemic in nature due to the presence of lipid droplets because of abnormal connection between intestinal lymphatic drainage and urinary tract. Okay, what do you mean by chylothorax? It is because of abnormal connection between pleural cavity and thoracic duct. In that way, chyluria, chylothorax. That is, there is one turbid appearance of urine, or pleural cavity is turbid. If you collect pleural fluid, it is turbid in nature or lipemic in nature because of that abnormality in the pleural cavity and thoracic duct. Okay, applied aspect is that. Next, what happens to chylomicrons? Chylomicrons are taken up by adipose tissue and liver. Liver synthesizes endogenous triglycerides. Already told to you, exogenous triglycerides are transported by chylomicrons, but in liver again, endogenous triglycerides are synthesized. Who are transporting endogenous triglycerides? Very low density lipoproteins are transporting endogenous triglycerides, and finally they are deposited in adipose tissue. Why? Because whenever, particularly in certain states as starvation, when you need extra energy, when glucose has to be spared, triglycerides in adipose tissue are hydrolyzed to produce free fatty acids. Free fatty acids, usually they can undergo oxidation finally to yield energy. What is fatty acid oxidation? You can understand in tomorrow's class. And usually in blood, what happens to free fatty acids? Free fatty acids are transported complex with albumin because free fatty acids need transporter. Transporter here is albumin for free fatty acids in the blood. Usually free fatty acids complex with albumin exist in minute quantities. Free fatty acids are usually taken up by cells and oxidized to get energy in the form of ATP. Next class you can start because it is a big essay question, fatty acid oxidation. Tomorrow's class it can be started. Okay, any questions, ma? All of you are clear? Any questions you are having, please you can again ask. Students, clear? Okay. Yes. Okay. One small suggestion, please read chemistry part of lipids because metabolism has started. Little bit revise chemistry. It becomes easy for you to understand. Okay. Any questions you can ask in next class too. Okay. Okay, ma.
Yes, ma'am.
Please, you start. You again, please revise chemistry of fats. Classification. What are fatty acids? Okay. What is the structure of cholesterol? You have to revise again. CR, how you are taking attendance, ma? Any instructions to you? CR,
No, ma'am.
CR, how to take attendance? Okay, clarify with office staff, please. How to take attendance? Because attendance counts, right? Again, for you. అట్లే ఉందా? లేదు మేడం, నెక్స్ట్ అన్నట్టు తీసేస్తారు. అయిపోయింది. స్టూడెంట్ ప్లాన్ అట్లే ఉందా మనకి? వాళ్ళకి టైం టేబుల్ అయితే తెలుసులేదు. తెలుసు మేడం. అవును మేడం.